So it starts with this page that you should all have, so File, New Drawing. Um, so you're in SOLIDWORKS, File, New. Again, if you kind of see this layout, I don't have a drawing template for you all, so it doesn't matter. You can always switch between what you see here. You can either go to the traditional templates and pick this drawing, or if you click on Novice down here, it'll just simplify what you see. But this is what we want, drawing, and click OK. So again, this is the third type of SOLIDWORKS file, part being the first, assembly being the one in the middle, and drawing being the final option here. So this is asking you what sheet size you want. I'm going to assume for most of you that your bottle should fit on an 8.5 by 11 vertical. If you happen to have a bigger bottle, maybe you want to choose 11 by 17. But whatever it is, we want to print this full scale. So I leave it up to you, but you'll also notice here it's defaulting to millimeters. So for the demo in the aluminum can, I'm going to say 8.5 IN to tell it to be inches. And here for height, 11 IN. If you don't type in the letters here, it's going to assume you mean 8.5 millimeters by 11 millimeters. I think the default is metric. Or if you installed my settings for some reason, that may be the case for drawings. So once you specify the height and width, again, if you want to go by 11 by 17, it would be the same thing, just 11 wide by 17 tall. You click OK. And now this represents, the blue represents your page. I don't know why they selected blue, blueprint, I don't know. If you already have your object open, in which case for me it's this aluminum can, it's basically asking you, hey, what do you want to put on your page? If for some reason it's not open, you can always click Browse and go and look. So maybe I want to use aluminum can too. Or this brings up kind of the Windows File Explorer dialog. How can you find your file? Or helping you find your file. So I can select, for example, Can 2 and click Open. And now you'll notice when I hover over here, there's a rectangle. This is where the can's going to go. But before we do that, you want to look at a couple things here. Firstly, you want to make sure you're placing the front view. If you hover over these, they'll tell you what the view is. But the front view is the one that's 3 from the left. It's the one kind of in the middle of everything. Also, if you scroll down, these are all the properties. You'll notice you can pick your display style. I'm going to encourage that you do this one. It's just called Hidden Lines Removed. Not filled in, just so it's just lines. And for scale, hopefully it defaults to 1:1, but if it doesn't for some reason, especially if you're working on a bigger bottle, it probably will default to like 1/2 scale. The way you change that is you just simply select Use Custom Scale. 1:1 is always an option at the top, but if for some reason it's not, you can just say user defined and you can just type in 1:1. Did I? I noticed down here in the pop-up it said semicolon. I was holding shift. I appreciate that though. I would not put it past myself to do that. Okay, so once you have it set to 1:1 scale, you have the display style you like. You can always change these, but it helps to just get it right from the start. And front view, you simply click in the center of your page. Unfortunately, it's showing this like extra stuff. This is again where Alt-V is helpful. I can hide all that. And now this is one of the things I love about SOLIDWORKS. By just dragging above, it automatically creates the other views. So if you hover above, you can create the top view. Let me double check. I think for Monday, all I want is the front view. If you want to throw the top view in there because it's easy, go for it. If for some reason it doesn't fit on your page, no worries. It's not a problem. The top view, simply by just, once you place the front view, here, I'll do it again. Once you place the front view, so let's say for some reason you got away from this, the way to get back to it is you go Insert, Drawing View, Model. And I believe that's listed on this page. And again, aluminum can 2 is what I want. When you hover over here and you click for the first time, provided you haven't hit escape or clicked anywhere else, if you hover slowly above it, it should default to giving you the top view. If you hover slowly to the left, it should give you the side views, and same for the bottom. And actually, if you go at a bit of a diagonal, it should give you the isometric as well. So that's a nice feature. If you go ahead and click the check mark, you're done. Okay, so the top view is not required, but let's say you want it and your bottle's tall and you don't want it on there. I believe if you select the top view once it's placed, you initially have to place it above. I believe if you go to view, I know it's here somewhere. I'm going to pause this. Yeah, and if you have a tall bottle, you want the top view, but it doesn't fit. If you simply right click on this top view, under alignment here, there's break alignment. If you click on that, you can now drag this view wherever you want. Now, for what it's worth, I would advise against that because you're kind of breaking the orthographic rules. SOLIDWORKS is really useful for making orthographic drawings. It makes your life way easier. For those of you that had me for 240, if we went through like all that Illustrator tracing of an orthographic view of your objects, SOLIDWORKS would make your life a lot easier. So yeah, I believe this demo just asks that you do this for the can. The last thing that it asks you to do is give the overall dimension of height. So you just simply do that the same way you would do in a sketch. You hit the letter D for dimension. You can click on this top line and on this bottom line. Whoops. Try that again. Click on the top line and the bottom line and drag it off to the side. You'll notice this is in millimeters. So to change that, you can go to the gear, brings up properties. You can see system options, but on the right here are document properties. If you go over here, you can go to units and just change it to inch. For what it's worth, I'll give you credit as long as you have a height dimension for project one. I mean, for this demo, this is just to introduce it to you all. But for project one, I do want a height dimension of the bottle. Let me double check what the requirements are for project one. Okay, so for the requirements of the printouts, you'll see here, we need 2 prints, okay? So full scale orthographic front view of the existing bottle. So that's all you need, just the front view. And then any scale orthographic front views of the fantasy bottle lineup. And again, I'll talk about that later. But I do request that your full scale orthographic front view of the existing bottle just have the height dimension. Purely reason is I just want you to understand how to dimension a drawing. It'll pop up again in, I don't know, project 2 or 4 or something. Does this make sense to everyone? Are there any questions on how to do this? The last thing that the document asks you to do is print this. So this is a requirement for Monday. So please come in with a full scale printout of your bottle. So again, you check that it's 1:1 scale. You can print from SOLIDWORKS. So I could go File, Prints. The thing you want to check here, I believe, is in Page Setup. And it's important that you check that the page orientation is portrait and that the scale is 100%. What's going to happen if you forget this is landscape? It'll probably chop off this top view and it may chop off part of the bottom of the bottle. So you want to make sure that's portrait and you want to make sure that it's scale 100%. And you can print from here. If for some reason this print dialog is confusing or you don't like it, you can always go File, Save As, or this is useful if you want to use this for another class or another project. You can save this out as a PDF or a JPEG and print from whatever print dialog or program is more comfortable for you. Are there any questions on drawings? Yeah, great question. No, the interface is blue. The blue will be the white page, and this will be black. So yeah, you don't need to worry about this. There are ways to change this if it bothers you. I'll be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know where it is. I believe it's in system options. I believe there's something that says colors, but you can, there it is, colors. You may be able to find it in this list if it bothers you, or just Google it. Good question though.